Hey everyone, happy Friday! We're here reporting from Helena on week 6 of the legislature, which is pretty crazy. Day 30, and we're rocking and rolling and ready for the next couple of weeks as we approach transmittal.
That's right. Week 6, day 30 means we are officially a third of the way through and only 15 days away from the transmittal break. So, or not necessarily the transmittal break, but the transmittal deadline, more pertinently. This is a big deal because that means any bill that started in one house that is not a revenue bill, so just any general bill, must be transmitted by that 45th day in order to continue through the process. It has to have passed the committee and passed the floor in its originating house. So that means we're likely to see a big flood of bills in the next 2 weeks especially.
Yes, we're already seeing the schedule for next week getting a little bit crazy, and we have some fun numbers. I pulled this out from the legislative website, so if you want to hear the numbers again or see them again for yourself, you can go to that legislative website and just scroll down, and it's a really cool interactive graph and number system that you can see all this different information and how it compares to sessions in the past. So we're just going to go through some of those numbers that are of interest. So it just talks about from the bills that were introduced to pre-introduced, the bills that are in progress right now, and that are coming along. And so just for example, the bills that are in progress right now, there's 1,897 in this current session. Last year around this time, it was actually a pretty similar number of 1,866. And so we can see kind of the changes. But I would really encourage all of you guys to go check out those maps.
Yes. They're really helpful and they update them every day so you can track progress. And there's a lot of talk about this session moving slowly. And in some ways it might feel like that to folks, but these numbers show that actually we're keeping pretty much on track with previous legislatures or kind of the norm. Mm-hmm. It's about to get a lot busier though. So you can check those out. They have great statistics, great factoids on the website. Mm-hmm. But we just wanted to share those with you, kind of a little legislative session by the numbers update for you to start with. So we'll jump in quickly and give you guys a little rundown of what our week was like. It started out really exciting because we had about 45, again, session by the numbers. We had about 45 members in Helena for our Calling on the Capitol. We had folks from, as far as Alzada, all the way up into the northwest part of the state, up to Ronan, maybe even further, I guess, some folks from up in Flathead County. So truly a good cross-section of the state and the different agriculture that our members represent. We had, everybody from a wine producer mm-hmm. to a sheep farmer sorry Gary, sheep rancher, cattle ranchers, and farmers, sugar beet farmers, all the way to all our other crops. So it was a great cross section. Yes. Always great to see the members because we miss you all. We love seeing you, but even more fun to bring you up here and to have you get to interact with the legislators and let them get to see you. Mm-hmm. And so we had a great opportunity with that. We had a reception in the rotunda where our members all got to interact with their legislators and others as well.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity for some people to meet their legislator, perhaps for the first time, or just get to talk to them again. After we finished up with our rotunda event, which was so much fun, we started Tuesday off. We were very gracious to the Fish, Wildlife, and Park department. They allowed us to host our meetings in there, and of course we got to hear updates from them. So we started the day off with the updates from the Attorney General, Austin Knudsen. He shared so many things that are really important to agriculture that maybe we don't always think about on how it impacts rural community, and it was a really interesting conversation, and our members had lots of questions from him. And after we heard from the Attorney General, we went on to hear from the director and some of the high-level staff from FWP. They got to tell us all the different things that they're doing, how they involve stakeholders, and their different processes, and some of the changes that they've made over the past couple of years with the new administration.
Yes, and they truly have. I mean, this department, this Fish, Wildlife, and Parks is a lot. We have a lot of interaction with them now. They're doing a great job of truly including all stakeholders, so not just folks that are interested in actually hunting or fishing, but also us, the farmers and ranchers, the landowners, mm-hmm. where where most of these wildlife reside. So we surely appreciate that and really appreciate them letting us use their commission room for all these meetings. We also got to hear from the Director of Department of Agriculture and Executive Officer from the Department of Livestock and several of their staff. And it was great because they all kind of gave us their own version of an update. So we had some like high level kind of presentations from Fish, Wildlife and Parks. We had specific bill updates from Department of Livestock, and we had like a lot of issue discussion with Department of Ag.
They got to tell us about what's going on with some of their value added stuff, and some of the different things that they've done to talk about agriculture in different ways too. So it was a really great update. Department of Livestock did such a good job, updating us on those specific bills that we've been hearing about and that we've talked about already. But it was perfect timing as some of those bills were coming through Senate Agriculture. So our members got to hear directly from...
And House Ag.
Yes, and House Ag. And our members got to hear from Director Honeycutt about what those bills do, and then they were able to share that from what they learned, how it impacts them, and share their own personal stories through testimony later that afternoon.
Yes, and it was wonderful having members in town to testify. We always say that. The legislators are used to seeing our faces and know that we represent Farm Bureau and all of your policy and your issues, and we try to serve as that surrogate to bring the information to them. But when we have members in town who can also represent Farm Bureau policy and share their personal stories and share another face at the podium, it's really impactful. So we really appreciate that. And they did a great job too.
They did awesome. Yeah, we had our Vice President Gary testify on a bill, and he did such a perfect job explaining how things impact him and how this bill could better him and his neighbors. He even got called back up for questions, in which he wasn't prepared to answer, and he just hit it out of the park. So it's a perfect example that, like, maybe you think, oh, I don't know it, I don't understand it. No, you do. You have the issues, you understand the stuff, it impacts you. So when you're asked that question, you just deliver it with that information that you already know. And just like Gary, all of you guys could come up here too and share that same information, and just with your own personal knowledge and experience be able to do such a great job.
That's right. We also got to meet with Lieutenant Governor Juris. That was fantastic. She was very gracious with us, gave us a lot of her time that morning. It was really neat to me. As many times as I've had the privilege of being in the governor's reception room, this time it was full. We had the full table filled. We had all the chairs along the side, and they brought in extra chairs. So it was just really great to have all these Farm Bureau members in there having an opportunity to talk directly to the Lieutenant Governor about our priority issues, things that are important to rural Montana, and also for her to be able to share with us what she's working on, many of the things that we are supportive of, and to kind of really give our members kind of a great update and pep talk on how important this legislation is and where it is in the process. So we really appreciated her time, and it was a great opportunity.
Yeah, it was great. After we met with Lieutenant Governor, we were able to hear from some different committee chairmen and talk about what their jobs look like and how they look at members of the public, our members, how they do their job, the different parts and pieces that it takes to be a legislator, and then on top of it to be a chairman. So our members were able to kind of go out and ask whatever questions they had, and then we were able to hear from legislative services, which they sometimes are not known how much work they do, and I think it's really important that everyone knows, like, they are a huge part of what keeps this shit running up here in Helena, and
yes,
it's very important. And so I think Nicole heard from a member who was so happy to hear that there are professional staff here, and that she said, "Ooh, maybe I could run," and I think that's awesome.
I do too. It just shows how well we try to put together an agenda that will help you get a full feel for what the session's all about, what it's like to be involved in the process, and help you all feel more engaged and more comfortable. So this all has been a little bit of a commercial. We're going to do this next session again too. So be thinking about whether, that's 2 years away, but we hope that this sounds interesting to you. We love having the opportunity to bring members into town. Obviously, it's free country, a very free state, so you can always come up to Helena on your own, but It's really great to have a group up here to interact with members of the legislature, because then you're putting the face on the folks that we're always telling them about.
Exactly.
So I'll check and see if we have any questions that came up. But what else? Do we have anything else for them?
I think that is our biggest update. I see that there's still some people watching, so always feel free to comment, tell us where you're watching from. If you're watching this later, we still want to hear from you, so comment then. Of course, as always, if you have questions, whether you're watching this live or not, comment them, and we're always happy to answer them later on. And with that, please stay tuned. We'll be back next Friday with more updates, and as we talked about, I'm sure we'll have a very long list of things to go through as our schedule gets even crazier.
Yes, so we did just kind of do a little, if there's a great website, I think we probably mention this all the time, but the same website that Rachel got these little facts from is leg.mt.gov, and that's also the place where you can go and view all of the bills and all of the bill hearings. So we were just checking the schedule, and there was already over 100 bills scheduled for just Monday through Wednesday of next week. We've been averaging about 150-ish bills a week. So a lot more will get scheduled, even on Monday through Wednesday, but of course Thursday and Friday. So we do predict that the dam is breaking and the flood of bills is going to come. And we already have quite a few written up on our board that we'll be working on Monday and Tuesday. And we know we'll be adding more. So yeah, stay tuned. Look for your email update from us members with all the bills that we have supported or opposed and their progress so far this session. So thanks for tuning in.
See you guys next week.